Brace ourselves, cyclone death toll tops 600 in Africa. Beira, Mozambique. With the flooding easing in parts of cyclone-stricken Mozambique on Friday, fears are rising that the waters could yield up many more bodies. The confirmed number, 8 days after Cyclone Idai struck southeast Africa's Indian Ocean coast, touching off some of the worst flooding in decades, the homeless, hungry and injured slowly made their way from devastated inland areas to the port city of Beira, which was heavily damaged itself but has emerged as the nerve center for rescue efforts. Some aid workers are seeing many children who have been separated from their parents in the chaos or orphaned. Elhoyas Sy, Secretary-General of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, said the relief efforts so far are weak. Helicopters set off into the rain for another day of efforts to find people clinging to rooftops and trees. UN Secretary-General. The UN chief said in a statement that with water and sanitation systems largely destroyed, waterborne diseases are also a growing concern. The number of dead was put at 259 in Zimbabwe and 56 in Malawi. Thousands made the trek from inland Mozambique toward Beira, some walking along roads carved away by the raging waters. Hundreds of others in Beira, people salvaged the metal strips of roofs that had been peeled away like the skin of a fruit. Downed trees littered and yet there were flashes of life as it used to be. White wedding dresses. A downtown sidewalk was Marta Ben's new home. The 30-year-old Iv. She and others, now homeless, begged passers-by for help, saying they had received nothing from the government or aid groups, not even bread. In Zimbabwe, where roads began to open and some basic communications were set up, a fuller picture of the extent of the damage began to emerge. The victims included a mother buried in the same grave with her child. Headmasters Miss in the city of Mutere, Mainachiziri Irwe said she buried her son-in-law, who had gone to the diamond fields to mine illegally. There, his colleagues survived, but her son-in-law was swept away, she said. Kyre Mutsaka reported from Mutere, Zimbabwe.
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up in the park.